Hey, it's Steph at Allen Acres, and today I wanted to share with you guys some tips on meal planning without spending money.
Hi, my name is Stephanie. I am a mom of 7 and I homeschool. We live on a small 5-acre homestead in a tiny Texas town where we pick farm fresh eggs, milk our goats, and make as much food from scratch as we can. We love spending lots of time outside, learning new ways to live a healthy life, and enjoying all the good things God has given us. Here I'll share about parenting, homeschooling, homesteading, family favorite recipes, and testimonies of God's faithfulness. If you enjoy a tight-knit family, real-life moments, and the pursuit of a joy-filled life, you're in the right place. I hope you'll join me on my journey to a happy, healthy home life.
Okay, so you may be thinking this sounds a little crazy, or maybe you don't, maybe you've done it before, but it's definitely a great way to be creative. So about a year ago, my husband lost his job, and since then, we have lived on a lot of faith. We've started our own business, and he's had a lot of different opportunities, but his work week to week is kind of unstable. So we oftentimes are living in faith week to week, and there's some weeks where it feels like there's plenty, and there's some weeks where it feels like there's not. And so one of the things that I have learned through this process is how to be creative with our food and with our budget. And so I've taken a few challenges throughout the last year to try to use what we have and make what we have go further, and of course not be wasteful and things like that. And so I've done this a few times, and I thought it would be a fun thing to share with you this week. But I am going to plan meals for our family of 9 for a whole week without spending money. So let's get started. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go through my freezer and my refrigerator and my pantry. Now, my pantry isn't as mysterious. Generally speaking, I know what I have, what I buy in bulk. I don't buy a ton of canned food. And so most of my pantry staple items are things like oats, rice, flour, baking things like that. So the pantry isn't as much of a mystery to me, but I don't know about you, but my freezer is oftentimes a mystery. I don't know why there's no space, and I don't quite know what is in there. So first I'm gonna go through my freezer, both inside and outside in my garage, and figure out what I have. Then I'm going to write it all down on a list, and I'm going to figure out what I have to make meals this week. Okay, so my list is not terribly long, but not too bad. I do have to admit that I actually did this last week already. I didn't spend zero money last week, but I spent a very, very, very small fraction of what I would normally spend in a week last week. And so my pickings this week are even less than normal, but I'm excited to see how creative I can get and what kind of meals I can plan for my family that are both nutrient dense and delicious. So on my list, I have frozen meatballs. Now, this is not something I would normally buy, but we happen to have them in the freezer from a time that my mom had come and made something for us, so it's something I can use. Riced cauliflower, breakfast chicken sausage, a whole chicken from my brother's farm that's about 4.5 pounds, some frozen potatoes, purple cauliflower that's also frozen, frozen mangoes, frozen bananas, some other random frozen fruit. I have garlic and onions, 2 fresh tomatoes, sauerkraut, squash, zucchini, cucumbers, 50-ish tortillas, 3 pounds of chicken sausage. I have not quite a pound of a boneless chicken breast, tons of bones to make broth, sour cream, cream cheese, beans, canned tuna, canned salmon, tomato sauce, pasta, rice noodles, beans. I think I already said beans. I have it on here twice. Lentils, tortilla chips, oats, rice, and cod, and some other kind of fish that I think is halibut from my grandparents. They go to Alaska every year, and they had given my brother a bunch of fish and he gave some to us. Okay, so now that I have shopped my pantry and my freezers and my refrigerators, let's see what we can come up with. Okay, so the first thing I like to do when I'm meal planning is get out my planner that has important dates in it. And I like to look over my week and see if there's anything coming up in the evenings that would affect my cooking times. So, do I need to have something thrown in the Instant Pot or the crock pot? Am I going to have time to make bread or make biscuits? Am I going to have time to do any extensive extra work? Okay, so this is my planner where I plan my meals out. You'll see for each day I have breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks labeled. And then I'm going to go ahead and fill in the things that we eat like faithfully each week. So Friday night, we always have pizza for family fun night. And on Sunday nights, we always do a yo-yo night, which is you're on your own. It is my way of not having to cook. Okay, so my next step for meal planning this way is going to be to circle my protein sources to figure out what I have to work with this week. So next thing I'm doing is just filling in with meal ideas with the ingredients that I have and crossing them off my list as I go, and trying to use up as much of the inventory that I have so that I can make some space in my freezers and refrigerator. Okay, so here we go. I've got my menu. Now my menu is a little unique. Because Father's Day was Sunday, which is when I normally would do my meal planning, it was, kind of a weird day, and yesterday got away from me, so I just kind of wung it yesterday. So I said it was a week worth of meals. I guess technically it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days worth of meals. So I have breakfast tacos on the menu for breakfast. We have oatmeal, sourdough pancakes, cream cheese toast, eggs and potatoes, and einkorn pancakes. For lunch today, I went ahead and put what we had this morning: breakfast tacos. We had lunch. We had hot dogs that are left over from my daughter's graduation party. And then when I'm done making this video, I'm going to throw together some salmon chowder. I'll put some bone broth in my Instant Pot, and I already have the sourdough made. For tomorrow, we will have tuna salad for lunch, and for dinner, we'll have garlic herb fish with roasted veggies and rice. Tomorrow or Thursday for lunch, we'll have salmon salad, and for dinner, we'll have chicken pot pie. For Friday, we'll have leftovers for lunch and homemade pizza for dinner. That's a typical thing. We always do that. Saturday, we will have a meatless chili. Now, I don't love to do meatless anything really, but in this situation, I was trying to make work what I had. And so I know with some lentils and some black beans and a really good chili sauce, I have sour cream and tortilla chips and avocado, and we can make some yummy chili that way. Then for Sunday, we'll have chicken spaghetti, which I don't really ever make, so I'm gonna have to come up with some little recipe for that with roasted veggies and our you're on your own for dinner. And then you'll notice I also have the same things for snacks every day. That's just because we won't necessarily have all those things every day, but those are our options: homemade popcorn, smoothies, or fruit. I'm gonna pull the frozen mangoes out of my fridge. It's a big bag, and that'll be the fruit my kids can have, along with a few fresh apples we have left. Also, you'll notice on the side, I got this idea from Jessica at Three Rivers Homestead. So this is my meal plan for the day. Here's what I need to do to make the next day's meal plan work. So you'll see, like on Wednesday, we're having these items, but this is what I need to do to make it smooth. So I'm gonna boil eggs in the morning, so I have them for tuna salad in the afternoon or for lunch. I'm gonna feed my starter. because Wednesday night, I'm gonna need to prep biscuits because on Thursday, I'm making chicken pot pie. And then you'll see I'm going to pull the chicken out on Wednesday to defrost, and I'm gonna cook it Thursday morning so it's ready for chicken pot pie. And then you'll see on Thursday evening, I'm gonna make bread so that on Friday morning we can have cream cheese toast. And on Friday morning, I'm going to make pizza dough so that Friday evening I can roll it out and we can make fresh pizza. And then you'll see Friday evening, I'm gonna soak some beans so that on Saturday I can put a meatless chili in the Instant Pot and not have to worry about it. So there you go. Okay, I hope this was mostly clear about how I do this. I know it's a little unique. Some of these things we wouldn't maybe normally eat just because it's not like our typical thing. You know, you get in that routine of like things you like to buy each week at the grocery store, things you like to make on a regular basis, things everybody's loving. And with the exception of the pizza, we don't eat these things on other things on any kind of regular basis. We do like to eat them for the most part. It's just, you know, making work with what we had. The only thing on the menu that I would say we really never eat is chicken spaghetti. I normally use ground beef for spaghetti, but I don't have any, so I'm getting creative, and so we'll see how that turns out. Now, I do want to say, I said that this would be meal planning without spending any money, but I do have a small caveat. We have some reward points for a bulk grocery store that we visit from time to time, and I'm considering when my husband goes into town, having him stop by there and use our points to buy cheese and maple syrup, because those are two things that would be really hard to get by with this week. The maple syrup I probably could even squeeze by with because we have honey, but cheese, I mean, yeah, I don't know. How do you go without cheese? We need to make pizza and things like that. Normally I have a ton of cheese, but I've missed the cutoff for another online bulk grocery store I normally shop at, and I have been without the cheese we normally buy now for almost 2 months, and that's been kind of rough. And I don't really like to buy cheese from the local grocery store here in our little town. One, it's really expensive, and two, it's not very good quality. And so this bulk grocery store has a few options that we like. And so with those reward points, he could probably pick up the syrup and the cheese. Now, a few things that I do want to note. I realize that this may not be realistic for a lot of people. You may not keep bulk anything in your pantry. You may just be a family of a few people, or maybe it's just not in your budget to have bulk items. But things that I always have a lot of on hand that would make something like this easy are things like butter. Like, for example, I didn't put this on my list just because I always have it, but I have 5 things of butter in my fridge, and I almost always have at least that many, if not more, because we cook with a lot of butter. And then I mentioned the other things that I buy on a regular basis that I have in bulk, and I pretty much always have those. And so, you know, in situations like this, to me, the thing that gets the hardest is like meat, because I don't buy meat in bulk at this season of our lives. And so that can get pretty tricky for me. But if you buy bulk items and you have those things on hand, it really helps. We also get fresh eggs from our chickens. Another thing I forgot to put on my list is I do have 3 dozen eggs. And then we get some eggs from our chickens. Now, we are in the process of getting more chickens, so we don't get even close to enough eggs to feed our family. Our family, on average, needs about 10-ish dozen eggs a week to eat what we would normally eat, maybe a little more if we're baking or whatever. And so I do have to supplement with eggs from either the grocery store or from my brother's farm. And so that'll be a little bit of a stretch this week because I don't have a ton of eggs, so I will have to be mindful about what I'm using eggs for. But we're going to make it work. The other thing that I do have that maybe isn't like a typical thing to have is we do milk our goats. And so I have fresh goat milk. It's not something we usually drink fresh, but I do make yogurt with it. And I like to use it in recipes like for my einkorn pancakes and things like that. So I do also have that option. Now I do want to say I will buy fresh milk from the farmer's market this week because we always buy fresh milk from the farmer's market, but I don't have to have it for this meal plan. The only thing on this meal plan that would require more milk is the smoothies, but we do have some milk now, and I don't have to have the milk for smoothies, and I could use goat milk if I wanted to. So I am going to buy fresh milk this week, but I don't have to be able to fulfill this mini plan. So I know that little, like, using my reward points at the bulk grocery store is kind of like a little, you know, cheat, I guess, but we are not technically spending money, and that is really huge for our family. Again, we're a family of 9, so we have 7 kids, ages 19, 16, 9, 7, 5, 3, and 1, and a husband that eats like a teenager. So we go through a lot of food. So this is a big deal for us. And I don't know that after this week I'll be able to do this again, because I will have cut into a lot of my reserves, and I'm gonna have to go to the store and make a haul next week. But I hope this was helpful to you. I hope that it gave you some creative ways of thinking about your groceries. This is not the most ideal. This is not the easiest, and it's not even the most fun, especially if the night comes. I don't know if this ever happens to you, but I will meal plan, and then the night will come and I'll think, oh, this doesn't even sound good. I wanna make something different. And when you're doing something like this, you really have to be able to stick with your meal plan. So I will have to have some discipline to be able to carry this out. But the goal is to feed my family nutrient-dense meals with quality ingredients. And this week, the other goal is to spend no money. So I hope this helped you. I hope you got some ideas. Let me know if you've ever tried anything like this, maybe a pantry challenge where you went a while. I know Jessica at Three Rivers Homestead, every year at the beginning of the year, she challenges people to do a pantry challenge where you don't go to the grocery store for like a month or 2 or something. So obviously this isn't that ambitious, but it is a challenge. So let me know in the comments down below if you've ever done anything like this, or if you think you might want to try it. I'd love to hear any tips and tricks that you might have. Also, just a thought, even if you think you couldn't go the whole week without buying anything, maybe it would be fun to just challenge yourself to see how little you could spend. Maybe trying to cut your spending in half, or even in quarters, and just saying, okay, what's the least amount of money I can spend this week? That might be fun too, to see how much money you could save your family. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, please like this video and subscribe to my channel. I get out a new video every Thursday on all things related to a happy, healthy home life.